the,
DeMarco.
the Blueprint Tour,
All right.
everybody.
Welcome.
As you
All
can
right,
hear,
thanks.
our studio audience is very excited, although very disciplined as well. When we tell them
Yes,
to stop, they stop.
everybody stops at one time. All right, everybody. Thank you. We are live, so this is going to be a quick update. I'm here with Phil and Carter, who are the brains behind the operations, and of course, I'm Kenny Schultz. And you've maybe seen some clips of any one of the three of us and some of the guests we've had. We're going to go over today a little bit of our tour schedule that's starting this winter on the 16th. Phil has been working on booking it. And so if you want to go over that, Phil, briefly, so that we all know what to expect, where we are now, and what to expect in the future.
Yeah, we have a few folks booked up for January, starting with Evans Construction, Stuart Evans, on Tuesday the 16th. He's actually going to be hosting us. He has his own setup over there, and his own equipment, so I think he's just excited for us to actually go check his setup out. I am too. Wednesday the 17th, we'll be going to Urban Core, hosted by Ashley Blankenship. Thursday the 18th, Dodson Development. We'll be hanging out with Duke Dodson and Adam Tiller over at a new project that we're working on with them. Get to hear about what that is. On Friday the 19th, we'll be at our own office, actually, although we work from home a lot of times. We do have an office we share with Fultz and Singh, and they'll be joining us on Friday the 19th. The next week, Kenny's going to be going on the road by himself up to the Ashbury Conference in Chicago. And when he gets back from that on Monday, the 29th, we'll be heading up to Ashland to hang out with Melissa Vaughn. And Wednesday, the 31st, we'll be heading up to the SMBW office with Maj Sodi. And after that, we're looking for more people to host us who want to chat.
So we have right now on the tour, we have a GC, two GCs, a developer, an architect, and a bunch of mechanical folks from the ASHRAE tour out in Chicago, and then another architect and another architect. So we're looking for folks interested in having conversations about what we call the four-letter word that's very long, and it's called coordination. Coordination. You know, it's a four-syllable word. Is it? Coordination. If you say coordination, it's four syllables. Coordination. Depends on how southern you are.
Yeah, coordination.
Yeah, and you know, when you think about the word coordination, it doesn't sound sexy until you start realizing that's the basis of most lawsuits in this industry, is whose fault is it that something wasn't coordinated. We've been very big on that as the consultants lately, pushing for construction tolerance and more reasonable assumptions to be made by the design partners around us. But I think at the general root of this topic is everyone agrees coordination is important. Nobody agrees that it's their responsibility to coordinate. Now, if you don't agree, then let's talk about it, right? If you genuinely take on the entirety of the responsibility of coordination, then let's talk about that. Or if you're the person that thinks that the MEP engineer should have coordinated and that they don't coordinate enough, then let's talk about that. If you're the engineer and you're like me, who thinks that we aren't paid enough to do the level of coordination expected of us, then let's talk about that. Or if you think that us as PermitZip are off the mark, that we should be doing more coordination and we need to be put in our place, then let's talk about that. So that's kind of the essence of the tour, is exploring it from everybody's perspective. And I'd love to get a couple lenders and developers. Luckily, thank you to Dodson Development for joining us on this tour, because from their perspective, they are the developer. They are the ones writing the check. There's a lot from the lender's perspective as well.
Yeah, most of these conversations happen within the context of a project that everybody already has a stake in, you know, so it's more emotional, it's more risky for that person. And so we all know that it's a problem. We all know that we need coordination. But if we're only talking about it when it comes up as an issue in a project, it's never really going to solve the problem that we all go into every project with, which is completely different expectations.
I
Yeah.
think enough of the things that like the architectural, the structural, the MEP, all that has kind of been recognized as a separate service in the industry as a part of the process of getting a building built. And coordination kind of falls in the mix of who's doing it. It's like a hot potato that we're all throwing it around, and whoever catches it is going to end up with a burnt hand. I think we just need to have more transparent conversations about the fact that that coordination effort, it's a separate effort. You know, it'd be like asking your architect to do a structural design, and then the architect trying to put it on the contractor, and the contractor trying to put it on the architect. You've just realized that that's a separate service that has to happen, and I think coordination just needs to be recognized as that, as a separate service. It's no small task, and no one party or company should be responsible for doing it.
Yeah, and every project has a different budget, and for those that have a low budget, things get very toxic very quickly in our industry. I mean, if there's very little money for the construction, then the smallest mistake becomes amplified, and that's just something that is easy to say out loud. I think I would encourage more of it to the owner who has a limited budget to say, "Okay, I know that you have this budget. The MEP fees came in, for example, at 30,000, and you're going with the $10,000 person. But do you understand what it means to take $20,000 of MEP engineering services out of their scope? It means that they are not being paid to think deeply about certain things that you might think they should. Because from your perspective, 10,000 is still a lot of money, and 10,000 is a lot of money. But 30,000 is a lot more money, and 100,000 is even more than that. And engineers within their scope will do more relative to the amount they're paid. The same is true for anybody who's a contractor. And the trade contractors can only offer so much free coordination, or they would say, from their perspective, designing for the engineers, where they have to reroute ductwork or think about how things might be installed, and the proposed design for the engineer is not going to work. Well, now they're being not paid to go through and try to figure out how it can work. And that's not fair from their perspective either. So there's a lot of cost in the thinking energy that goes into a successful project. Well, if that's not paid for and it gets built and it results in a change order, then whose responsibility is it? If nobody paid for that level of thought, then we would argue, at least at Permazip, that it's the person building it, their responsibility. So that's kind of what the tour is out. Maybe we're wrong. We hope to be shown that we're wrong and that our perspective is jaded. And that's the entire purpose of the tour, is to show everybody what everybody else thinks about this topic. We got an architect calling in right now. I wish I could put him on live on this. It's Jason Hopkins, but we're going to hop off now. We got a meeting in 2 minutes. We just want to let you know we got the first 2 weeks of the tour booked. We're looking for more folks to hop in on the conversation, although this is booking up quickly. So let us know in the comments, subscribe. Do you want to be a part of the tour? We'll head your way. This one's primarily focused on Richmond, but we hope to see you out there. Thanks for tuning in, and I will try to figure out how to stop the stream because this is my first time ever doing it.
I'm just gonna stare until you do.
I'm just gonna
not gonna move.
I'm just gonna sit here and look at everything, and I think this is it. All right. All right, y'all.
All
see ya.
right.
Nice.